Hello everybody, today I have another video for you all, hooray, and on today's video is on, well, you might not be able to really recognize what the heck we're looking at, but, so this is Bolt and Zap, Bolt being this guy and Zap being that guy. So, this first piece is like a defense tower, or some sort of like signal thing, I don't know. This is Bolt. You see his like little computer thing. Little, or maybe it's like a little computer and he's just got a little head. He's got a flip down visor. Very similar to Optimus Prime. This is actually an official Lego piece. And it looks a lot like Optimus Prime. Yeah. And this guy is Zap. He's got a little more to talk about. He's also got a flip down visor. He's got this backpack back here. And his two weapons, a gun and a hammer, can also plug on the back all neatly like that. And he's got these two little wire bits. He's got an alternate face because this is like a minifigure head from the Nexonite line. Yeah, that's pretty much it for him. And then this last piece is, I don't know, it's like just random piece. So I hope you've enjoyed. I'm just kidding. So you probably already guessed by probably the thumbnail and previous videos showing him off. You've probably already seen that this is not his final form. So, first of all, what we're going to want to do is start off with this guy. Let's start off with this little bit. This is Bolt. This is the main piece of him. But then, take this random body piece and straighten it out like that. Open it up. Click it on in. And here we have Bolt done. And this is basically his main body piece. Now, why is he not a complete body piece, you may be asking? Well, more into the lore, if you remember from my other videos, we have talked about a lot of the lore of my characters and stuff. And so we've talked about how there's like the big evil creator. He created a bunch of Mecha Guardians. So the evil creator was a neutral character. He was not an Autobot or a Decepticon. He created his own team called the Terrabots, and which is kind of similar to Terracons, but it's a different thing. This is all my own creations, by the way. But so evil creator, as we call him, he created his own team called the Terrabots, and so he created a whole bunch of robots called the Mecha Guardians. These guys, all my figures basically. And what happened was that, unlike what he expected, the Mecha Guardians actually started switching teams from the Terrabots to the Autobots and the Decepticons and stuff, and he was not having any of it. So what he did, he gathered up all his Mecha Guardians and he blew them all up. He just kaboom, just all gone, blowing them all up. And a lot of the characters were a lot of them a decent amount of them survived. There used to be thousands upon thousands of Mecha Guardians, but most of them were like wiped off and killed. Now, some of them did survive, but a majority of them sustained a heavy amount of damage. Bolt being one of them. As you can see, he's only got one shoulder, no arms or legs. I'd like to think that at one point he was about the same size as what Junkie used to be. About that big. About that sized. Alright, so I understand you're probably sick of hearing about the lore of my characters, but I have even more lore for you guys. Hooray! So, after the remaining Mecha Guardians recovered from the terrible explosion and all the carnage and stuff like that, Bolt was left without a body. with only his shoulder and waist to help him move around. Now what happened is that Junkie came in and said, "Hey Bolt, how about I help you by building you a giant mech suit that can be folded up and stored away for safekeepings," which is where this giant quote-unquote defense tower comes in. You've probably already guessed that this isn't actually a defense tower or anything like that, but actually a fold-up suit for Bolt here. So, getting into transformation, first what we're going to want to do is straighten out the legs, twist them about, or twist the feet around, and then fold these bits down, come to the front, twist the legs around even more, fold the hands out, arms down. These bits come out to the side. These bits that are up get folded down. Then this bit comes down. Then here we have the main bit. And now, this is where the fun part comes in. We're going to take Bolt's disabled body, and we're just going to simply plug it in right there. Now there's a bit of a slide here. It's going to kind of slide right on to those two bits. And his head's just gonna rest on those bits. These bits come to the side like this. And here we have Bolt in his final mech suit form. Alright, so now with Bolt in his complete form, I feel like you can actually start talking about the character. So, Bolt here, I like to think it as this big, menacing, hulking monster that if anyone's ever watched the Angry Birds Netflix series or anything that was out a while back, you'd probably know that, like, you'd probably know about the Terrence, the big red Angry Bird Terrence. And I'd like to think that Bolt here has a very similar personality to Terrence. And, like, he's got, like, a very deep, grimace voice. And, like, I don't know. Also, like, whenever he talks to you or you start talking to him, like, he just, like, cracks his knuckles, like, as if he's getting ready to beat you up or something. Like, he is not just messing around. He is coming for your soul. Run. Anyways, enough fooling around. As you can see, I have Zap up here. Now, Zap is like Bolt's mini-con. Like, he could actually, like, store inside his chest the same way Frenzy does with Barricade. I'd like to think that this is a very, like, Frenzy Barricade type situation. Like, this is like his little Frenzy, and then, like, you jump in. I actually made a stop motion showing how Zap would jump inside Bolt's chest, and I'll show it right here. Anyways, you should probably get into a bit of a closer look. So, if you come to the front, you can see, like, where the suit kind of wraps around him. Like, it's very tight, snug fit. Like, he's not falling out. Like, he could shake around without falling out. And his head, this is a Lego movie head, like with some of the skeletons from those sets. He's got his flaming helmet piece. This headpiece is just an assortment of different, like, nice, probably very valuable pieces. His chest can open and shows all the stuff, like where his shoulders connect and his spark. Coming to the back, we see all sorts of, like, machinery, and right here we can see some sort of, like, gem or something, maybe like the power source. Like, if this gets knocked off, like, he collapses to the ground. Yeah, he's got this giant chunk at the top of him. I'd like to think that Zap can just sit up here and, like, shoot people and just, like, view from a high. Coming down to his legs, he's got all sorts of like machinery and stuff. And he's all like mixed match parts, like one of his hands is lighter gray and his foot. Like his body was built just purely out of scrap, and it wasn't like made super nice and neat because he's gonna be going into battle and fighting people. So he doesn't really have any accessories or anything, and besides that weird defense tower, he can't really transform at all. But I feel like besides that, he's a very nice character. Actually, a matter of fact, I do have a lot of characters that cannot transform, like this guy. And also, maybe if you remember this guy, he can't transform actually either. Yeah, I really like him. For size comparisons, we got my first character, Unknown Warrior. Another character, Junkie. Optimus Prime. Now, actually, so next to my Mecha Guardians, he's pretty big and menacing, but then next to Optimus Prime, he's not that much bigger. Of course, he does have a decent few heads taller, but like he's not that big or menacing. Again, if you remember some of my videos, I want my Mecha Guardians to have this scale. I want, like, if they were to stand next to Optimus Prime, they would be this sized. Funko Springtrap, I guess. That'd be, yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. And for my next video, I plan to do the second bad guy in the series. This guy is going to be my next character. But until then, bye-bye.